"You're engaged." Maya's voice came out as a whisper, but it cut through me like a scream. We stood in the restaurant corridor, her face pale with shock, tears already streaming down her cheeks. This was the woman I'd kissed in a bookshop 3 weeks ago, the woman who'd cooked me dinner in her tiny apartment, the woman I'd stupidly started falling in love with. And she'd just discovered I was her cousin Victoria's fiancé. "Maya, I can explain," I said, reaching for her. "Let me tell you how I got here. How I went from feeling alive for the first time in years to watching the only real thing in my life shatter in a restaurant hallway. It started 3 weeks ago, in a bookshop, when I kissed a stranger and everything changed." Kale Reed stood in the classics section of Morrison's books, hiding from another board meeting, another conversation about quarterly profits. At 32, he'd built an empire that felt more like a prison. "Pretentious garbage," a voice muttered from the other side of the shelf. Kale glanced up to see a blonde woman pulling a book off the shelf, her nose wrinkled in distaste. There was something refreshingly real about her. "You know that book actually lives up to the hype," Kale said. She turned, raising an eyebrow. "Let me guess. You're a hedge fund guy who reads business leadership books and thinks that counts as literature." Kale felt the corner of his mouth lift. "Close. And you're an artist who thinks anything popular must be garbage." "Curator, actually," she corrected. "And I just think people confuse complicated with good." They argued about books, about art, about the difference between living and existing. She challenged every assumption he made. When she mentioned people who hide behind success, her words cut through him like glass. He kissed her without thinking. One moment they were arguing about Hemingway, and the next his hand was cupping her face, his lips finding hers. She made a small sound of surprise, then melted into him. When they pulled apart, she was breathless. "I don't even know your name. Does it matter?" Kale asked. She laughed. "Yes, actually. Kale." "Well, Kale," she said, stepping back slightly, "you can't just kiss strangers in bookshops." "I know. I'm sorry. I just needed to know if this was real." "And?" she asked, a smile playing at her lips. "It's real," he said. "Can I have your number?" "Since you asked so nicely," Maya said, typing it into his phone. Over the next 2 weeks, they fell into each other. Coffee dates that stretched into evening walks. Late nights at galleries. She teased him about his terrible music taste. He watched her talk about art with the kind of passion he'd forgotten existed. One afternoon in the park, Kale asked suddenly, "When's the last time you felt less alone?" She stopped, turning to look at him. "Right now, actually." He kissed her. Slower this time, more certain. This wasn't impulse. This was falling. 3 days later, Maya stopped walking, suddenly nervous. "So I was thinking, if you're not busy Friday, maybe you could come over for dinner." Kale turned to face her fully. "I'd love that." "Yeah?" she asked, relief flooding her eyes. He cupped her face in his hands. "Maya, I'd love that." He kissed her tender and deliberate. When they broke apart, she was smiling against his lips. "So that's a yes?" she whispered. He laughed. "That's a yes." Friday night, Maya's apartment was everything his sterile penthouse wasn't. Small and warm, filled with art and books and candles. She wore a simple dress and looked more beautiful than any woman in designer gowns. "Okay, so if this is terrible, just lie to me," Maya said, carrying plates to the table. "I don't think I could lie to you if I tried," Kale said. After dinner, they sat close on the couch with wine. She was telling him about her dreams, about opening her own gallery someday. "Can I ask you something?" Kale interrupted. "Why me? You could have anyone. Why'd you say yes to this?" Maya was quiet, her fingers tracing her wine glass. "Because when I'm with you, I don't feel like I have to be anyone else. I can just be me, and that's enough." Something broke open in Kale's chest. He pulled her to him, kissing her with everything he couldn't say. She kissed him back, her fingers threading through his hair. They got lost in each other, the world narrowing to just this moment. Hours later, Kale stood in her doorway. "I'll see you soon." "You better," Maya replied. He kissed her forehead, then forced himself to walk away. In his car, his phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. Don't forget about the family dinner Friday. My parents are excited to meet you. The guilt crashed over him. He looked back at Maya's apartment and felt panic. He'd agreed to marry Victoria Chun 6 months ago. A business arrangement. Her family needed his investment. His company needed their connections. He didn't love Victoria. She didn't love him. But he'd never expected Maya. Never expected to meet someone who made him want to burn his entire life to the ground. The day of the family dinner, Kale stood in his penthouse getting ready, the mask of a successful CEO firmly in place. His phone rang. Victoria, don't be late, she said, and try to look happy. We're just waiting on Maya. She's bringing wine. Kale barely heard the rest. Across town, Maya was on the phone with her friend, practically glowing. I know it's fast, but I really like him. Really like him. Her phone buzzed with a text from Victoria. Running late. Can you bring the wine? Maya texted back. Of course. Can't wait to meet the mysterious fiancé. She had no idea that in 2 hours her world would shatter. The restaurant was upscale, a private dining room where Victoria's family had gathered. Kale arrived with Victoria, who looked perfect as always. Black hair pulled back elegantly, designer dress. He shook hands, played the role of suitable fiancé. Inside, he felt hollow. We're just waiting on Maya, Victoria's father said. Then the door opened. Time stopped. Maya walked in, laughing, holding a wine bottle. Her blonde hair caught the light. She looked happy, carefree, beautiful. She looked up. Their eyes met. The smile died on her face. The wine bottle slipped from her hand. Someone caught it. Kale couldn't breathe. Finally, Victoria called out. Maya, come meet my fiancé. Kale, this is my cousin, Maya. Maya stood frozen. Kale's face had gone white. Victoria pulled Maya over. Maya's an art curator. Very artsy-fartsy. Maya and Kale had to shake hands. The touch was electric, agonizing. Nice to meet you, Maya managed. You too, Kale said, swallowing glass. Dinner was torture. Maya sat across from them, unable to look at Kale without her chest caving in. Victoria talked about wedding plans, color schemes, venues. Every word was a knife. Maya's hand shook, reaching for water. Their eyes met accidentally. Both looked away. So Maya, Victoria's mother asked, any special someone in your life? Maya's voice cracked. No, not anymore. Kale flinched. 20 minutes in, Maya stood abruptly. Excuse me. She practically ran from the table. Kale waited 30 seconds. I need some air. He found her in the hallway, pacing, tears streaming down her face. Maya, he started. She whirled around. Don't. I didn't know, Kale said desperately. You didn't know? Maya's laugh was bitter. You're engaged, Kale. Engaged. When you kissed me. When you came to my apartment. When you made me believe this was real. I swear. I didn't know you were her cousin. But you knew you were engaged. You let me fall for you. You think I planned this? Kale stepped closer. You think I wanted this? To ruin my life? I didn't mean for this to happen. But Maya, what we have is real. We don't have anything. You're marrying my cousin. I don't love her. Maya stared at him, stunned. What? It's arranged. For business. I've never felt for her what I feel for you. Maya shook her head, fresh tears falling. That's even worse. That's so much worse. Maya, please. Stay away from me, she whispered, then walked away. Kale stood in the hallway, his world crumbling. Maya didn't come back. She'd left through a side exit, unable to breathe. The next 3 days were hell. Maya cried in her apartment, staring at photos of them on her phone. Kale drank alone in his penthouse, staring at the engagement contract. Late on the 3rd night, Maya's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I know you don't want to hear from me, but meeting you wasn't a mistake. Falling for you wasn't a mistake. The only mistake was not being brave enough to walk away from a life I never wanted. I'm sorry I hurt you, but I'm not sorry I met you. Maya read it through tears. She didn't respond. 2 weeks later, Maya was at a gallery opening where she worked. A small event, intimate art collectors over wine. Kale showed up uninvited. Maya saw him and tried to disappear. But he found her in a quiet corner, in front of a painting of a storm at sea. "I'm not marrying her," Kale said quietly. Maya closed her eyes. "Kale, you can't just say that. I'm calling it off. The engagement, the deal, all of it." "You'll lose everything," Maya whispered. "I already lost the only thing that mattered." She turned to face him, tears streaming. "Your family, your company, everything you've built." "I don't care," Kale said. "I can't marry someone I don't love while I'm in love with you." "Kale," Maya's voice broke. "Tell me you don't feel it too," he said desperately. "Tell me I'm crazy, and I'll walk away. But if there's even a chance you feel what I feel, then none of the rest matters." "She's my family," Maya said. "She doesn't love me either. This whole thing is a lie. A business transaction. That doesn't make it hurt less." Kale stepped closer, wiping her tears. "I know, but I'd rather lose everything and have a shot with you than spend my life wondering what if. I'm ending the engagement whether you choose me or not. Because you were right. I've been hiding. But you made me want to be real." He kissed her forehead, then walked away, leaving her standing in front of the storm. 2 days later, Kale knocked on Victoria's door. She opened it, unsurprised. "You're in love with my cousin," she said. "I'm sorry," Kale said. Victoria stepped back. "I'm not. Honestly, I was dreading this marriage." Kale stared at her. "Then why did you agree?" "Same reason as you. Family pressure. Business. Expectations." She paused. "There's someone else for me too. His name's Richie. He's a lawyer. My family would never approve." "So we're both trapped," Kale said. "We're trapped," Victoria corrected. "But maybe we don't have to be." They called off the engagement that afternoon. Civil, almost kind. A mutual escape. As Kale left, Victoria called after him. "Treat her right. Maya deserves that." "I will," Kale promised. "And Kale, thank you for giving me an excuse to finally be honest too." The next day, Kale walked into Morrison's Books, the same bookshop where this started. Maya was there, standing in the same aisle, holding the same book. She turned, saw him, and her breath caught. "I'm not engaged anymore," Kale said. "I heard," Maya replied, trembling. "Victoria's okay. She's relieved. And your company? I'll figure it out." He stepped closer. "But I need to know if there's still a chance. For us." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "You really gave up everything?" "Not everything. I chose you." She kissed him. Desperate, joyful, healing. He pulled her closer, his hands in her hair, her fingers clutching his shirt. When they broke apart, they were both crying and laughing. "I love you," Kale said. "I should have said it before." "I love you, Maya." "I love you too," she whispered. They stood there holding each other, two people who'd found something real in a world full of pretense. They'd chosen honesty over obligation, love over expectation. It wouldn't be easy. There would be consequences and difficult conversations ahead. But standing there with Maya, Kale knew he'd made the right choice. Because sometimes love isn't about perfect timing. Sometimes it's about being brave enough to choose it anyway. If you enjoyed this story about love, courage, and choosing what's real, please hit that like button and subscribe for more emotional stories. Drop a comment below and tell me what you would have done. Would you have chosen love or obligation? I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.